Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking May reads and June, what's on my TBR. So these aren't in any particular order, but I read 13 books in May. And so I was busy and I'm limited on time with my memory card and my battery. So I'm gonna go through these kind of quick, but I'm gonna give you what I read, a couple of thoughts, and then my star rating. So let me pull up my list. No particular order, just in the order that they're in my stack. Fake Divination Offense. If you watched any of my 2025 videos, this is the second book in the Magic and Romance series. And the first one, The Entanglement of Rival Wizards, was one of my favorite books of 2025. This is the second book. It follows Auroch and Alexo, and it's opposites attract, fake dating, which very quickly becomes real dating. And yeah, I really loved this. It was, Auroch has some really deep-seated anxiety, which I could relate to, unfortunately. I did like Entanglement of Rival Wizards better, but I still loved this book and I did give it 5 stars. Next, I finished the Emily Wilde series. I read Map of the Other Lands, which was my favorite Emily Wilde book. And then I also read Compendium of Lost Tales, which is the third book. Again, as I said, Other Lands was my favorite, and I recently learned there are 2 more coming out. But this follows the story of Emily Wilde, who is a professor at Cambridge, and her new colleague, Wendell Bambleby. And the first book starts where she is going off to write her Encyclopedia of Fairies, and Wendell tags along. Things happen from there. Editing, and I'm just popping in to say, there is a titch of romance in these books, not a lot. It's mostly the fantasy aspect, so I would not classify these as romantasy. So these are very good. Good entry into fantasy too, because it's not too complex to understand. 5 stars on both of these. I had a really good reading month. Next, Our Perfect Storm by Carly Fortune. I love Carly Fortune. I love this book. Childhood friends to adult friends. Lots of lack of communication, which I don't normally like, but this is one of the best childhood friends or friends to lovers stories that I think I have read. And the caveat with this one is I could not stand Frankie. She was very irritating, very pretentious, and Frankie, for me, when I think Frankie from The Women, and no one beats her, so that also threw me off a little bit too. But George, perfection. I was so excited to read this, and it lived up to the hype and my expectations. Into the Blue, another really excellent example of friends to adult friends, childhood friends to adult friends. And the one thing I did not understand or really get about this book was the TV show, sci-fi TV show subplot, which, okay, maybe I just don't get it, but that's actually something I've seen a lot of people say, is that didn't really make a lot of sense. But yeah, this was really, really good. And it's written over the span of like 13 years. So incredible. Incredible relationship building. I loved the character of AJ, love the character of Noah, other than he is so stubborn. But I loved this book. This was a 6-star, made it into my 6-star reads list of 2025, 2026. Next up, we have 4 books in the Game Changers, aka Heated Rivalry series. First one, I read these out of order, by the way, so I didn't read these in the order that I have them on the shelf. But first one, Common Goal, Tough Guy, I'm sorry. Not my favorite story. At least the spice held off. The first 2 books I was pretty critical of because they were spicy right off the bat and I didn't really like that. This one held off till maybe 50, 60%. Probably 50 is more accurate. 45, I don't know. But again, opposites attract. Not my favorite story. This and Fake Divination Offense have a lot of the same vibes. There's no fake dating in this one. But this is also kind of childhood friends to adults. So not my fave, gave this 3 stars. Common Goal, also not my fave. Friends with Benefits, I will say as we go through the series, the writing gets better, but I just didn't particularly care for this book. I don't really care for Kyle. However, the last 2 in this series, oh my gosh, my heart. Role Model, Troy and Harris. I love this, my babies. This was so cute, so good. This is, let's see, how do I describe this? This is kind of opposites attract. Troy is pretty quiet. Harris is very outgoing. But again, communication. Communicate, communicate, communicate. I can't stand a miscommunication or lack of communication trope, but I loved this book. However, the whole time I just thought if you 2 would just talk to each other, this would be easy. And then the best book in this series, at least until Unrivaled comes out, The Long Game. Oh my God, the plane scene. I'm gonna have to read this again. There are some parallels between this book and Role Model. So the plane scene in this book, I went back and read the plane scene in The Long Game. But with all that being said, my favorite part of these 3, other than Role Model, of these 2 would be Ilya's cameos, living for those. Ilya is a bigger character in Role Model. So yeah, this made it on my 6-star list as well. And then my last physical book I read this month was The Celebrants by Stephen Rowley. I loved The Guncle by Stephen Rowley. This one was okay. It was kind of long and a little bit boring. But basically, 5 friends come together. They see each other, you know, kind of occasionally after college. They all met in college. They see each other occasionally and decide to throw each other like living funerals so they know how much that person means to the others. And it has a very sad but happy ending at the same time. But this really tugged at my heartstrings. I gave it 4 stars. It has a lot of similarities with So Old, So Young that I read in April, which I would love to talk about if anyone's interested. We're getting into the Kindle reads. So first one I want to talk about is Happy Ending by Chloe Leese. I gave this one 3 stars. This is kind of a friends to lovers as well, but they meet as adults after their divorce and their spouses are dating each other. So kind of a little funny story, Emily Henry-ish, which I did prefer Funny Story to this. But this is another one with an amazing relationship, and the foundation of their relationship is so strong. It's not insta-lust, which I cannot stand. They really truly grow to love each other as friends and as more. So yeah, this book, I really loved it. It was a fun, kind of a fun story. I only gave it 3 stars because I thought it was kind of long, and it's not one that really is gonna stick with me. I guess I read more than 13 books. I have a lot here. I read Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams. This is a thriller, trigger warning, claustrophobia, because they go caving in this book and someone is trying to kill them. One of the twists I saw, one of them I did not see coming. Oh my gosh. Crazy, crazy. This was so good. I did give this 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and it's a very quick read. Then we have How to Cheat Your Own Death, which is the 3rd book in the Castle Knoll series. And in this book, Annie has to solve a murder of an artist who is living with her mother that has parallels to a murder from like 60 years ago, 50 years ago, something like that. But decades apart, and it's told kind of in the classic Castle Knoll Files format, where it's present day and then you go back to reading Frances's diary to tell about the events of the past that are linking to the present day. So I really liked this book. I gave this 4 stars for no reason other than I just don't know that I'm going to think about it a lot like I would a 5-star book. It was really fun. It was kind of creepy. But yeah, dual timelines, the 60s in London and present day was really cool. Then probably my favorite book of the month, which I immediately ran out and pre-ordered the print edition after I finished the Kindle edition, Daggermouth. that ending. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I still don't quite know what to say about this book because it was so good. So, like, I didn't see it coming. I did not see it coming. Did I see any of the twists coming? I don't think I did. I don't think I saw any of this book coming. But it is true, enemies to lovers, female rage. It's a dystopian kind of romance, which I'm really loving the dystopian, like post-apocalyptic type books. But classism, my God. If you only read one book that I talk about from this video, make it Daggermouth, because that book is, it might be my favorite book of 2026. Seriously, it might. And then I had a DNF. Speak to Me of Home, Janine Cummins. I hated this book. It was way too long. I didn't like any of the characters. I did not like how it ended. I didn't like that one character was made out, after being a certain way the whole book, made out to be a bad person to justify what one of the characters did. It's unfortunate that I didn't like this because this does hit on a lot of important themes. Immigration. This is the story of 3 women from Puerto Rico. And it hits on a lot of themes, like I said, immigration, a sense of belonging, trying to fit in when you've immigrated. Obviously, I can't understand any of that. And I think that it did, from that angle, it was written well. But it was, again, it was just kind of boring, and you see the twists coming. And this one just wasn't for me. There's also a lot of jumping back and forth between the timelines, which got very confusing. Okay, we'll see if I can get all this in my memory card. I have 1 minute left. June reads. We're getting to pool reading time. So The Castaways, Lucy Clark. Summers at the Saint, Mary Kay Andrews. Songs in Ursa Major, Emma Brody. The Night and the Moth, Rachel Gillig. 11/22/63, Stephen King. From Blood and Ash, I'm starting that series. And How to Get Away with Murder, Rebecca Phillipson. And I will see you next month.